Hi there, and welcome to BeCollaboration, the Journey of Possibility podcast on the 1st of March 2019. It's lovely to have you with us today, and I'm really excited to welcome Andrew Horder along as my guest this afternoon. Andrew has been one of our accomplices. That's kind of an internal name we give to our group hosts. And he, along with his fellow accomplice, looks after the Surrey region over in Banstead. And Andrew has been probably one of our founder members, very early days. He's been around BeCollaboration, and he has done a podcast before. So you want to go back and find out a little bit about his early days, his world of academia, when he was a very naughty boy.
I was not a naughty boy.
But today I wanted to get to grips a little bit more, Andrew, with where you're at in the world today, what you're passionate about. So welcome. Lovely to have you on board.
Great to be here, Jill.
Cool, thank you. Yeah, and also to thank you publicly even more because you are one of my right-hand people. So as a classic example, on Tuesday last, we had a London meeting and somebody fell ill and couldn't do one of their presentations. So I just went, hi, Andrew. And he's like, yeah, sure. It's so lovely to rely on you and have you there, knowing that you're going to just take something off the shelf, polish it up for BeCollaboration, and then you've got something wonderful to deliver. So one of the things you talked about is core process on the Tuesday meeting, but I think probably we'll come to that a little bit later on. Okay. And you can fill us in a bit more. What I'd like to find out about is how you got to where you are today with your business, your joyful genius, and why you are classified as our joyful genius. Where did that come from?
Where did that come from? Well, when I came out of corporate, I didn't really know what I was doing. And I started off my coaching business, and I'll explain a bit later how I actually got into coaching. That was because, no, I'll do it now. When I found out what my core process is,
right.
We'll come to core process later. My core process is encouraging potential.
Right.
That was when I had to go, I'm a coach.
Penny drop.
Right. That's why trying to be a consultant didn't really work. When I started off coaching, I was all about focus, because I'd actually designed and developed this approach to figuring out which projects you want to get involved in, called Opportunity Matrix. Okay. And that was about, okay, so what should I be focusing on? And it looked at it from a very rational perspective, but also from the passion side of things. Do I actually even want to do this?
Yeah.
I said there are two big business questions. How much do I want to do? How much do I want to do this? Passion side, and will I make any money at it? The rational side.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I thought what I'll do is I'll build my coaching practice around getting people to understand what it is they should be focusing on. And I called it Not the Busy Fool, spinning off sort of, Motley Fool.
Yeah.
And then I realized that the reason why people don't focus on the stuff that they love to do and they're good at is simply because they don't know what they love to do.
They know what they don't love to do. Isn't it funny?
Yeah,
a lot of people know what they don't want, but they're not actually sure what and are they allowed to want that? This thing that they used to do when they wrote in the job.
Yeah, there's that whole Protestant work ethic thing about, are you allowed to have fun at work?
Exactly.
If you're enjoying it, what are you doing getting paid? You can't get paid
for that. Exactly.
It's barking, but it's how we think. And so I was looking for the name for a webinar around focus. And I came up with this name for the webinar of Juice Up Your Joyful Genius.
Okay.
Really, I loved it as a name.
A little bit of alliteration going on there. That works, yeah.
Yeah. Well, I love acronyms, and I love
yeah.
So, and then I thought, you know what? Yeah, it's not about not being a busy fool. It's about finding your joyful genius. That's actually what I want to spend my working life doing. Lovely. So I changed the name of my practice, did a new website, and I've been Joyful Genius ever since. Yeah. And that's now what I focus on.
Lovely. Yeah, Brilliant. So you've got 3 steps to genius, haven't you, in your philosophy?
I believe that everyone has a genius.
Yeah.
But there are 3 steps to bringing that genius out, if you like.
Right.
The first one is step up.
Yes, indeed.
And actually own up to having one.
Right. Most people are like, oh, no, not me. Couldn't possibly be me. I'm not a genius.
There's lots of reasons why they don't. But first step up and actually admit you're a bit special.
Yeah.
Second step is to step into that genius and really understand it.
Right.
Because without that, you can't do the third step, which is to step out with that genius and take it out into the world with a message that people understand and that is congruent with who you are. And the challenge comes that people do one of 2 things. They either leap straight from step up to step out without really understanding their genius. So they go, right, okay, I'm a great accountant, and I'm a particular kind of accountant, and I'm going to now go and tell the world all about it without really understanding what makes them special for their perfect customers, what makes them the perfect supplier for their ideal clients.
What's interesting is that a lot of people realise they're good at something, not understanding what their genius is, purely because they see their genius as like, well, that's easy, isn't it? Everyone can do that.
Yeah, absolutely. They're too close to it.
Yes, exactly. So you have to do some work on yourself to unravel it all, to spot the bits that like, what do you mean? Can't everyone? I thought everyone could do that. Oh, it's just me then. Oh, flip. And then all of a sudden, then you can own it, can't you? And then you realise, and then
that's where you realise that, I am special.
Yeah. And
now you're starting to be able to really get into the point of owning that genius. So I talk about the first step being owning up to your genius. The second step is owning your genius.
So when did you kind of cotton on to all of this, and what was your genius and how did you own it?
Well, my genius is encouraging potential. It's, what I do is I see what's possible for people. And I see where they're holding themselves back from it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. And I get them to do the step into part. Right. To be honest, a lot of the time I force them into the step up bit first.
Yeah.
But
do you have to take them kind of kicking and screaming sometimes, because people aren't keen to do work on themselves, are they? Really, at the level that you're talking about.
It's people want to fit in, because belonging is core human needs.
Yeah.
So they want to fit in. They don't want to be an outlier.
They have the need to be the same.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And they don't quite understand that they can still be part of a group while being special. Yeah. That's one of the things I love about BeColl. Yeah. We're all special, and we know we're special because we're in an environment where that's what you can be. That's what you're expected to be.
Exactly.
So
exactly.
That's what I love about the whole environment. And it's a place where people can do that inside work and really understand who they are and what it is they really want out of life.
Because if you're missing those 3 steps and you don't do any work on yourself and you don't acknowledge that you're a genius, then you're forever on the treadmill, aren't you? That the treadmill that you've been indoctrinated into climbing onto and going through. You work till you're 65, then you retire, then you've got some time and you just drop down dead. I mean, that's...
But it's worse than that. It's worse than that, because what you're doing, most of the people that we come across, certainly, within BeColl, but most I work with, they've done the corporate thing and they're now out.
Yeah, escaped.
So they've got to the point, they've escaped, and they've got to the point of going, there's more to life than this. And now they're getting sucked back into putting themselves into that little block.
Yeah.
The accountant-shaped block, or the consultant-shaped block, or
because that's what they've always done. That that's what I know.
Or the wacky healer-shaped block.
Yeah.
They're still just trying to fit this model that other people have. And I talk about people trying to be who they think other people think they ought to be.
Oof, yeah.
Yes, who they think other people ought to think they ought to be.
Right.
Yeah, exactly. You know, it's like, leave my head alone, please. But that's what we do. So we end up with such a distorted version of ourselves that it's never going to be fun.
And of course, with the world that we live in today and social media, I don't know about you, but I'm constantly got these pop-ups on Facebook and Instagram and things. It's like, you too can have a life on the beach and earn thousands of pounds every day by doing... And you're fed this false expectation.
Well, yeah, but the problem with those is then people go into those not really understanding who they are. And then they try and fit the model that model is designed to make work. Yeah. Which is a false bullshit model. That you've got a bullshit model that somebody who doesn't really understand themselves is trying to fit themselves into, so they become a bullshit person.
Oh, yeah.
And that is really sad. I was just talking to somebody this morning about that, and you know, without that knowledge of yourself, all the best tools in the world is only going to create a plastic you. Yeah,
that's kind of why. Without knocking the likes of Tony Robbins and all the wonderful things that he's done, but a lot of people chug along to these kind of events, get the adrenaline rush of how amazing I could walk over hot coals, and come away and like they're back to square one again, aren't they?
Yeah. The biggest challenge, I think, even bigger than that, is that a whole load of people go along to things like Tony Robbins, you know, T. Harv Eker, John DeMartini, all those sort of people. So I know those are three very different types of people, but you know, they're still very rah-rah in their delivery.
A little bit, yeah. Yeah.
And then there's a whole bunch of sharks, if you like.
Yes. Getting on the bandwagon.
And they're using Facebook ad targeting so that they know you've been to UPW. Now they're going to hit you with, create your massive action plan. Pay me $5,000 and I'll show you how to build your online funnel. Yeah. Because you're building your online funnel from a place where you're not fully developed yet.
Yeah. So you're not being authentic, and therefore...
Then it don't work.
Exactly. How can you radar out, you know, what you want to achieve in the world if you're not actually sure of what you're good at and what you want to be doing?
Yeah. So you know, methinks the lady does protest too much, you know, or you're just fitting into what you think other people want to hear you say. So you're using the same old tired internet marketing phrases that everybody's heard before, and you know, making promises.
Out, don't they? They just don't hear it because they've got
exactly.
brain noise.
So you know, I used to have a bit of an issue with Tony Robbins because you know he makes such a big razzmatazz about it, but in the end, he changes people's lives. I went along for quite a long time. I was sponsored for a while of the Yes Group in London. Oh, right. Which is a bunch of ex-UPW people who
Unleash
go along.
The power, for those of you that are watching that aren't you. What the hell's UPW?
Yeah, UPW, sorry, Unleash the Power with it.
One of his programmes, isn't it?
It's Tony Robbins' free weekend. No, it's not free.
Oh.
It's not. He doesn't do it as a free one, does it? He charges about 800 quid, if I remember rightly.
Don't know. I've never been on that one, but yeah. I've seen.
You walk on hot coals on the Friday evening, and then you cry in your beer on the sun and then you've gone through this, you know, great catharsis, and you come out as a whole new person for about 3.5 days. Yeah, but you know, without being terribly cynical about it, there are a lot of people that it does transform their lives, and it does. Yeah, you know, it shows them a way forward where they were stuck, and it's a bit like the analogy I like to use. Have you ever seen Cesar Millan, who does the dog training? No. He's a dog psychologist, so he talks about dogs getting stuck in a certain way of behaviour. Yeah, and he helps them to unlock themselves, and once they get over that space, they're kind of unlocked, and then all of a sudden everything's possible, and they become a much better behaved because they don't have to live in fear. And I think that's